Hello, everybody. How's it going? We're back in the arena and we're playing a different kind of deck this time. We're playing ranked with, I just call it Nikki Control because we have a previous Grixis control deck that's with the same name, and we we just couldn't name it Grixis Control the same way anymore. So we named it Nikki Control this time. We're taking a jab at this whole Grixis Control archetype into the diamond tier, and so far it looks like it's doing good if played properly. You do have to know certain things about this particular deck. I'm pretty sure there's a better uh, deck that you can sort of or you can actually sort of um, edit the deck to play a little bit more to your play style, but this kind of feels like the way it should be for me. And here we are. Basically, we what we want in our main board are is everything that we can use to sort of deal with the current meta of the other decks that are top decks of the current meta. So we have duress. That's for one. We want a good even. We sort of want like to have like a shotgun approach to the counter cards that we have available in our deck. So first we have duress, which is sort of a cheap card to use for just checking out the deck of your opponent to see what they have, and future being able to just see what's in their hand and getting a grasp of what kind of deck they're playing, what kind of archetype they have. So duress is good, even though like even if you're not able to discard a card that is a spell or non-creature, non-land from his hand, at least now you have a good idea of what your opponent is playing, and you can prepare for it in the future. That is, of course, we are playing into best of three, wherein because in best of one you won't really be able to gain that advantage of the duress and all these little cards that have similar effects. Next, we have negate. Negate is for we only have two because every deck obviously has a good amount of maybe planeswalkers or spells, instants or sorceries in there. So that's why we have negate in there. But sometimes we don't really get negate immediately. That's why we have two more in the sideboard if we actually really need it. And in some of my games, you will see in gameplay, I've actually had to put four duresses and four negates into my main board. Now we have Search for Ascanta. Search for Ascanta is something that you really don't want to get rid of because in any control deck, you are bound to either mana flood or get mana screwed. And Search for Ascanta will help you sort of control that kind of situation going on. Thought Erasure, because in any deck that can be that you can put Thought Erasure in it, of course put Thought Erasure in it. It's such an amazing card. You get to reveal the hand of your opponent, you get to discard any non-land card in there, and you get to surveil one, which is to say in a control deck is very important because if you're top decking and top decking and top decking into lands, of course you want to get rid of some of those, and surveil just allows you to do that. Tyrant Scorn, on the other hand, is a sort of maybe for this deck. Most of the time, I would rather have Noxious Grasp instead of Tyrant Scorn, because Noxious Grasp um, is it destroys the creature regardless of what its um, cost is, regardless of how what its power is, and you also gain one life, except with the exception that it has to be a green or white. Now, it's not really a problem most of the time because currently the current meta has a lot of green cards for the Timur Elementals or the Bant archetypes, and for the whites, well, there's always the vampires and the white weenies that you can always counter. And Noxious Grasp just seems like a nice main board, but at the same time, you don't want to start off with Noxious Grasp immediately. Noxious Grasp is just one of those cards that you want to sort of maybe have it and use it as a counter replacement for whatever removal cards you have in your main board. And that is why we have Tyrant Scorn, which is a more generalized sort of removal for those 3 to cost or less cards. Then you have Angrit's Rampage, is another sort of a removal that bypasses the hex-proof abilities that some creatures have, and the protection that some the new found protection uh, ability that some creatures have, like the what's it called, the Ceratops, and a lot of the other creatures out there. So that's what Angrit's Rampage is great for. But I recently I find myself not really using Angrit's Rampage as much. Then you have 4 Narset Parter of Veils. Now having 4 may be a bit of a stretch here, and you really have to be careful with using Narset, especially in a control deck, because Narset doesn't. It, Narset only takes a look at the top 4 cards of your library, and if you're having some mana issues, some land issues, you most likely don't want to use Narset, because Narset will sort of mess up the draw order of cards, and if you're in need of land, Narset is just a terrible choice to be playing at the moment. So that's why we have 4, because sometimes she's good, sometimes she's bad, but we need 4 for so that we can, most of the time for this deck, most of the time we remove 2, maybe 1, sometimes 3 Narsets, and replace those cards with something better with in our sideboard. Flame Sweep is your general sort of board wipe for those 1/1s, 2/2s. There are a lot of cards right there, creatures in the current meta that fit into this category, like the Knight of the Ebon Legion, the Risen Reef, the Ramp, Mana Duds of the Bant, Manipulation, or Timur. Then we have Bedevil, which as I said earlier, a more generalized sort of removal card that allows you to destroy any artifact, creature, or planeswalker. I think by now everyone is familiar with Bedevil. If you're not, it's one of the best cards out there to have, especially if you're running Grixis colors or Rakdos colors. Except for that one reason, except for that one thing about Bedevil, is that it is a 3 to cast. So sometimes, if not most of the time, you want to be able to choose something that is a little less costly, and that's why most of the time I sometimes remove Bedevil and replace it with Noxious Grasp, because Noxious Grasp does target creatures or planeswalkers that are green, especially if it's you're up against a very specific archetype. As I said, Noxious Grasp is a wonderful replacement card once you for best of 3. Once you get to the idea of what kind of creatures or planeswalkers that your opponent will be putting down on the board. Eternal God Kefnet, God Eternal Kefnet is one of those other cards that we just want a few creatures on the board. He is a 4/4, and he is pretty difficult to put on the board. But if anything, if you had to choose between Nicol Bolas and the Kefnet, I would most probably choose Kefnet, because of his ability to copy any instant or sorcery card, and the ability to actually play it immediately once it's copied. And it also reduces the cost of it to cast by 2. So if you have some big cards there, like maybe Flame Sweep, and you grab it, you can cast it for 1. Or if you by chance get a Ritual Suit, at least you can now cast it for 2. And that's what God Eternal Kefnet is. The value of this card is always bringing so much value to this deck archetype, alongside the additional ability that it's not very easy to deal with Kefnet. You destroy it, you exile it, you still have the option to bring it back into your deck, into your library, and play it uh, after 2 turns. Nicol Bolas is there because, well, it wouldn't be a Grixis deck without Nicol Bolas the Ravager. Um, Basically, what Nicol Bolas does is remove it makes the opponent discard a card. At the same time, it's a creature that you can put down on the board, and it's a blocker if you need it. That's why we have four, so don't be afraid to use it as a blocker. But then again, you might want to include into your plans of being able to flip it over into a planeswalker and make use of its win con of -12 exhale all but the bottom card of target player's library. At the same time, once you flip it, you can also use it as a removal card, kind of like how Ugin works, but except Nicol Bolas is a little bit more costly with that -3. You can also bring back a planeswalker if you have to, or a creature with that -4, which is sort of, it makes the Nicol Bolas card, planeswalker card, a little bit more flexible in this kind of archetype. Then you have we've already discussed Ritual Suit, and I think everybody knows what its real purpose is to simply board wipe. We only have two of these, so make sure to use them very sparingly and very during those really important times when you can really get the value out of Ritual Suit. Then Nicol Bolas Dragon God is one of the planeswalkers for this deck. I kind of feel iffy about having four of the Nicol Bolas Dragon God in this deck because four is a little bit too much, and sometimes you start the games with three, maybe even sometimes four Dragon Gods into your hand, and you end up mulliganing. That's why sometimes I always choose to sort of replace it with either an Enter the God Eternals or a Hostage Taker. But for the games that you will see in the gameplay, for the matches that you will see in the gameplay, Hostage Taker wasn't really played much because we kept mana screwing for some reason, and we weren't getting our ideal curve out of there. Chandra Awakened Inferno, I haven't been able to play her as much as I wanted with this deck. Most of the time, we were up against Timur Elementals, and we weren't really able to make use of her -3, which is a very big value ability if you're up against those go wide deck archetypes. But more importantly, that +2 is also very important. And but most of the time this is a control deck. Obviously, it's not mid range, and we sort of want to be able to control our opponent's movements. And Chandra definitely does not exactly do that if you're up against elemental decks. And so let's move on to our sideboards. We have two Duresses, which is for those spell heavy, instant sorcery heavy decks, which we are going up. We've actually been going up against a lot of those in our matches in ranked. Then Alpine Moon is there for the scape shift. Not that we come across a lot of scape shift decks nowadays, but you do want Alpine Moon in there as a just in case. I think I did have one game where we I don't think it's in my video logs, but there was one time I think that we were able to make use of Alpine Moon. It did bring a lot of value, so we want that there definitely for the scape shift decks if you find that you're up against them a lot. And then we have two negates, which is as I said earlier, mostly the decks that we were up against had a lot of instances and sorceries, so most of the time we were sideboarding 4 Duresses, 4 negates. Noxious Grasp, as I was explaining earlier, is a wonderful replacement card for those specific moments that you need it. Angrat's Rampage for if you're up against a lot of creatures that have hexproof or maybe the protection stuff, like Veil of Sumner, for instance. So you can use that. It's a cheap card. It is a sorcery, but it is something to consider. Hostage Taker and Enter the God Eternals. So we have Hostage Taker, which is a one-off, which mostly used against those really big cards like Gruul Ramp, Gruul Ramp maybe, or what's it called, Gruul Stompy or Mono Green Stompy. Hostage Taker really brings that value, but since we don't really come across a lot of those, Hostage Taker is mostly there for the Cavalier of Thorns or the Cavalier of what's it called? Knight, I think. Cavalier. Yeah, the Cavalier of Night. These sort of big cards or Cavalier of Gales that we sort of want to make use and put it on our side of this of the board. Enter the God Eternals is a great card to sort of as a follow up or as a last ditch move when you're up against the mono reds or the RDWs, wherein we've already lost a lot of health and we're just about to get there and stabilize with our side of the board, but then you're having some health issues, so you can actually put down enter the God Eternals, cast it, and deal 4 damage, gain a bunch of 4 health, gain 4 health, and amass for 4. Such a very kind of a very balance disrupting card to have. So there you have it. I guess we shall go into gameplay. I gotta learn how to play Narset a little bit better. In fact, you know what? I don't think Narset is even something that is significant here, because there's so many cards now that disallow you, that bypass Narset. Timur Elementals is a different kind. Okay, Chandra. We'll get +2. I'm more for. I don't like that. Okay. Okay, we'll keep it. Knowing that we get mana screwed so many times, we're gonna keep it. I think I'm gonna bin Narset for now, or at least reduce the chance of getting her. I really don't like how that Narset is screwing things up for me. See, the thing is, Narset does not counter Risen. So why would you have Narset in there? Except if only to draw counters, right? To draw spells. So Narset is not a useful card in the current meta, as far as things are being concerned. I think Nicol Bolas would be a better choice. He has to discard something. But we'll play around it. We'll try and see how. I think the biggest flaw in this deck is the Narset, the Parter of Veils. I really do not like that Narset is there. Okay.
This is just gonna be bad for you.
Okay.
Let's
well,
burn brighter.
We have Ritual Suit, and you can't play anything if you don't have. You can't attack if you don't have. I may be playing it wrong though. It's just keep her head in the game. Keep focused. Keep focused. We have Nikki B. She can deal with that Chandra. It is considered a removal. We have another one too. If he has a lightning stormkin in there, the taste. Okay, so we win that one. He's playing elementals. But it's a different kind of. It's the Chandra elementals. I'm pretty sure he does. He's gonna have the flyers, the Cloudkin. Maybe he even has a Risen Reef. I saw a green. Maybe he just didn't draw into it. So I would feel sort of better if we remove the 2 Narsets, replaced it with Noxious Grasp, maybe. Spells. Do you think he's got spells for Duress? Well, I think the only spells he's gonna have are the Planeswalkers. Tyrant Scorn, 3 mana cost. I think he's gonna have a lot of those. God Kefnet. Chandra. No, since he's playing elementals, I don't think Chandra is gonna be very useful to us. We may need the hostage taker. And we may need the heal. He is a bit aggressive, so we may need that heal. So we're still learning how to play with this Grixis control deck. Okay. Well, this is bad, but I will keep. I am so traumatized with the... This is really bad, but I'm so traumatized that I will keep. I'm so traumatized with the whole mana screw thing. I'd rather mana flood now and, you know, potentially draw into some cards that I can use than mana screw later. So he isn't playing anything just yet. I am thankful for that. We do have the double black for a bedevil if we have to. I'm pretty sure he has a, Nisa in there somewhere. Okay. Right. So, do we want more reds or more blues? I think we need more blues for the Enter the God Eternals. He's playing quite passively. He's being very cautious about what he puts down. Okay, Risen Reef. To aid him with the land drop. I don't feel super threatened just yet, but I am ready with the bedevil. And if I have to, there is the Enter the God Eternals. Turn 5 we do have Nicol Bolas, but I don't think we can put him down early. Not as early as I want him to be. We need to have enough to sort of counter. This has to drag on a little bit. Right, so he's not putting anything down, obviously. He's biting for something. My turn. Oh, that's perfect. We can actually, so I think I do want to put down a few. Oop. Can take a peek. It's a very slight one. I think he may have put in a few counter spells in there. Ah, Veil of the Summer. Okay. So we'll take it one turn at a time. We'll be Veil of the Summer. He's probably put in 4 of those, so we're gonna have to somehow. No wonder he's been playing a little passively. I think he's filled his deck with counter spells. Okay, there's a Chandra. And we draw out another Veil of Summer. Let's draw it out. Let's see if he... Nope. So he doesn't have.
I just want to hug all those fire critters.
You don't have. You don't got. But he is able to attack me for a good amount. So knowing that he doesn't have that, I think it's safe to assume that we can put this down and Enter the God Eternals and sort of mill him out. Does he have a counter spell? He does. Right, there it is. Spell Pierce. I figured he'd have it. That's why he's playing so passively. Right, see? Look at him go. Put down Dismal Water. He has a counter spell, so nope, I am not going into that. Not with 3 land like this. Now we're flooding. I want him to spend his mana.
I protect that which
Okay,
cannot protect
that's
itself.
not good. Just gonna tap 1. Now he has a lot of mana. Oh boy, that's scary.
Be wary of the ground you walk on.
Now that I know he has counter spells, having negate might be useful in my next turn. In my next run. Alright, let's see. Let's see how intense things get when I put down the bolus. Okay, there's a negate. May not be too late for us.
The land shall conquer
It's
you.
gonna be 7. Ah, that's gonna hurt. I need to get a good size of sizable amount of things that he can do. He has counterspell. Does he? He's thinking about countering it. Does he have another? What else could he have in there? Well, I've got a land here, so I don't really
The
know.
land fights for us.
But I do know that I've pissed him off. Okay, that's a GG. We want to get rid of a 2 nickel bolus. We don't need 2 of those. I do want to increase the amount of duress and the negate. 1 more. What else? He didn't have any big creatures for the hostage taker, but hostage taker takes creatures or artifacts. We weren't drawing into Noxious Grasp, which is kind of a bummer. So I think this is okay. I don't think Flame Sweep's gonna be too useful, unless of course he. So we can reduce by 1. Increase the Angrat's Rampage for a cheap. I think Bedevil would be better. Tyrant Scorn, we didn't get much of it. Citrus Quantum may still be useful. I don't feel all too comfortable with 3 duresses. 4 negates might be okay. Noxious Grasp, we have 2. Which seems like a pretty good balance. Let's win this. Let's win this. I would like to play first. Angrat's Wrath. Rampage, which will suit, we'll keep that. We have Steam Vents. Put that down. We do need a black. Maybe I should have put down Watery Grave first. Okay, looks like he's playing a little bit more passively. Alright, put this down. We have Narset, we might as well. He probably has the counter spell. We have 4 though, so I think that's pretty good. We're sitting at a good curve out here. Come on, dude. Okay, so we do want to
meditate and
draw
prepare.
into that negate. We also have Thought Erasure. But we do want to draw into that negate somehow. Don't overthink it. You just might run out of time. Don't overthink it. Creeping Trailblazer. Okay. It's not a problem. We have Nicol Bolas. I'm not gonna Thought Erasure. I mean, we are playing control, so. Took out his Chandra.
Hone your prowess.
I think Enter the God Eternals would be something I'd like to go into, but I do want to have that duress. So our Enter the God Eternals went to the bottom of the pit. Wasn't really needed. Do want that duress so that we can sort of take a peek into what he has. Okay. Now, let's see. We can attack or not. We can duress. And he's gonna counterspell it. Of course. If he uses his blue, that's it. Negate. You know what? Fine. I think I will let it slide. I don't really have much belief that. There is a Spell Pierce. And a Domri Anarch of Bolas. Not that any of the creatures are going to be. But I do want to get rid of that Risen Reef. We have Flame Sweep. Oops. Lava Coil. Touche. Nice. Here we go. So he decides to go face. He doesn't see Narset as a threat. Okay. He has nothing to counter my Nikki B, so I'll put that down. Oops. Takes out his Domri. Probably doesn't need it. He knows that I'm not gonna counter his creatures. He's gonna probably put down that. Maybe he doesn't want to put it down. That's interesting. So what's he gonna do? I block, he attacks. It gains 1/1, and then what? It gets 3? So what? And it dies. So what else is he gonna do? What a loser. Oh my god. Alright, so diamond here. I guess it's okay if you play it well. Play your cards right. It's mostly because we've been playing kind of poorly. This is pretty okay. Able to use her or not. Okay. Looks like we're going up against... Ah. Looks like we're going up against... Okay. I am more afraid of this Night Pact Ambusher than I am afraid of that Frilled Mystic. Bant Mass Manipulation. That is what we are up against. We're going to have to include a negate. We're going to have to go for the 4 negate, 4 duress, Thought Erasure. We can get rid of the Narset. I don't think he's going to be able to... Well, we can probably reduce the Narset. Not completely get rid of it, but reduce it. He is waiting for the 4... Yeah, so he has that. I won't be able to play Nicol Bolas anytime soon, knowing that he has Frill the Mystic. Should we allow him to put down that Frilled Mystic? And, you know, that Frilled Mystic is probably just one of the many. So we will allow it. Can always destroy it with Flame Sweep if he starts putting down creatures. I don't think he got the ramp. Okay. So he's gonna attack first. No. Really? Alright. We'll put down Narset. See if he has another counter spell in there. Because, okay, that's 2 Fruit Mystics. Something, at least now we have something to use our Flame Sweep. I think he has only 2. Normally in decks like these, there are only 2 Fruit Mystics. Okay, that's a lot of damage. 6. The Fairy Time Raveler.
This isn't a fight you can win.
Ah, he's gonna return 1. That's
More like it.
He doesn't have... Okay, well that's pretty interesting. Do we Bedevil now? Seeing as we aren't actually grabbing the cards.
Now what?
We could have Bedeviled the Frilled Mystic though. Now, he is ahead of the HP. We are not up against some ordinary dude. He knows what he's doing. Okay, Paradise Druid. He does not have the counter for it. So we can either Flame Sweep, Flame Sweep now, or forever hold our peace. I think, what do we want? Nicol Bolas? Go for the draw? He could just go straight for me. Does he have a counter spell? Ooh, Sinister. Okay. What else? Show me what you got. So we have 5. This Tyrant Scorn. He's gonna allow it. Okay, at least now we know what we're up against. Flood Mystic is such a strong card in that we can't actually counter it. But knowing that he has Sinister, he's playing a weird kind of deck. He's not going for the ramp. But this time he might. He just might. This time he just might. So we want the two. We want the Noxious Grass, the cheap cards. We do want to reduce the Bedevils. It's green or white. I don't think he's gonna have any blues. We do want to reduce the Bedevils. We want the board wipes. I think we should get rid of the Bedevils, take out some of these Narsets. The Chandras aren't going to be too useful, seeing as he may be elementals. And I don't think we'll get there at all, but okay, wait, hold on. I do want one, just in case. We can reduce the Nicol Boluses to -2. Hostage Taker, do you think we need that? Angrat's Rampage. So replace the Bedevils with Noxious Grasp, just because, you know, he's not gonna have like a lot of those other colors. I do want to get rid of something else. But what? Search for Esconda may prove... I don't know if I want an Angrat's Rampage in there, but... So play first. Wow, we drew into a lot of land. Alright, well, I'm not going to complain. There's a steam vents. You can put down this abysmal backwater for the heal. We draw into those. Another abysmal backwater for the heal. So I want to get rid of his. He probably has a spell pierce in there. But I do want to get rid of his little cardies. I want to see his hand. Let me see your spell pierce. Okay, good. That's one. What else you got, buddy? He's playing Bant. And do we see a 2? Ah. Teferi and Sinister Sabotage. He's got Spectral Sailor. I do not like the idea of having a Sinister Sabotage in there. But having a Teferi... Spectral Sailor goes down. Then he puts in Teferi. I mean, he could put down the land. Okay, he's gonna attack first. We do have the 4. So we can put down Nikki B. So that suggests that he does not have the things that he needs. So Nikki B it is. He's probably going to take out that Spectral Sailor as opposed to his Teferi. Playing Bant. So Noxious Grasp will work on this Teferi. He is gonna bounce it.
Don't worry.
That's fine.
I got it.
So he decides to bounce it. Draw a card. Does he have another Spell Pierce? Do you think he's got... Okay. So the fact that he's used Paradise Druid suggests that he doesn't have anything else in his hand. So I think I'm safe to put down Nikki B. Spell Pierce doesn't counter other stuff. Ah. Well. So he took out a land.
I'll protect you.
He decided to include Veil of Summoner. That's an interesting card. It serves like a sort of a counter, but not exactly. Oh shit, I forgot to check if he...
All of the multiverse will bend to my will.
So I guess that is the decision of the century.
Outsmarted you eons ago.
If I attack that Teferi, what is he going to do? Block it? I don't think he wants to block it. He wants to draw cards. Okay. So he's going to block it. Interesting. And there is a Night Amateur. Oh wow. Well, that is something indeed. And he passes, right? Yep. To destroy my Nikki B.
Schemes have been foiled.
Okay. Well. I don't mind a little bit of damage going down my throat. I do want to destroy your Teferi.
We will meet
Like I
again.
said, I don't really mind a little bit of damage going down my throat. If he uses a spell, he loses the advantage of being able to do this. So he has to decide whether he wants an additional one of these or if he wants to get rid of one of mine. Okay. Bant, that's interesting. He was playing a Bant Flash sort of deck. Now I know that Chandra definitely won't be useful. Tyrant Scorn may not be as useful as I thought. I like the idea of having Hostage Taker, except for the fact that Hostage Taker takes time. You're expecting, if you're using Hostage Taker, you're kind of expecting to use it endgame. Enter the God Eternals is definitely something I want in there. Chandra Awakened is too slow. At least I feel it's a bit slow. Ritual Suit and Flame Sweep were not very useful there, knowing that he's got the wolves. But Ritual Suit will come in play very handily. I do want that Chandra. So we're making very minor changes here. This isn't something you like to see, but sure. We are a sort of turn 3 kind of deck. Wonder if he's decided to play fast. Oh wow. Okay. Spectral Sailor's on board. Going for an attack. Boy. He seems agitated. He's moving really fast. Picking me off one by one. Does he have a land in there? No. Well, that's even more interesting. Spectral Sailor. We do have Ritual Suit to deal with those sailors, those one-offs. Okay, so he's paying for a lot here. Not entirely sure what's going on, but sure, if he attacks for 2, it's just 2, right? But that 2 damage might sort of accumulate in the end game. Okay. Next turn we'll have 4. We can Flame Sweep, put down the Eternal Kept. Right. I forget. Yeah, no, he has Spell Pierce, definitely. Okay. Definitely has Spell Pierce. Something I just realized. He may have Spectral Sinister's whatever. So I do want to get this out of the way. Ritual Suit. Okay, Sinister Sabotage. Leaving him with only 2 more. What could it be? What could it be? We do have 5. 6 even. We have 5, maybe 6 even. I think we can put down Eternal God. The God Eternal Kefnet. Do you think he has another Sinister Sabotage in there? Right, Field Mystic. Okay. But at least we can do this. At least we gain 1 health. We can also enter the God Eternals. We might tap for health. We have 6. I guess we can give this a shot. Actually, I just want to see if what he'll do with this. Reduce his ability to, sort of. Right, that's good. That means he's a little bit out of cards. So we can put down Narset. Oh no, he has another one? Okay, that's interesting. That should be his last though. That's interesting. Okay. And another Spectral Sailor. So, now he's top decking. Now he's top decking. Ooh, Frilled Mystic. Wow. That's interesting. Yeah, he added 2. Okay, there are 2 Frilled Mystics in there. That's gonna be a lot of damage to go for. I think I can still recover from this. As long as it's not a land. It has to be Flame Sweep. Boy, but I'd be like super lucky if it was a Flame Sweep. It can't be a negate. It has to be something that'll help me survive. Ooh, Teferi. So he's just shown me...
timing.
Ah, okay, so I think he wants to put back his Frilled Mystic.
Let's
No?
try this.
Ah, we top deck into crap. Okay, GG. That was a good game. Alright, so we'll play first. Wow, all land. Sure, we'll keep. I mean, look at all this. Look at all this land. We'll keep. 26 I think is too much for this deck, considering that its curve isn't that much. It's not that great. So the shuffler is giving us a hard time to climb the ladder. Very, very hard time. Alright. Maybe you'll think we're demure. Ah, we're up against Gruul. Are you Stompy? More land! Great. I am so excited for this. Actually, I want, now that, well, Gruul can get really crazy really fast. I think we just drew into another land. Yes, more land! Yes, please, give me all the land now. All the land now. But given that all the lands are coming out now, there's a good chance that we're gonna draw into a whole bunch of other stuff. More land. Ooh. How intimidating. The game hates my guts. I think the game is just telling me you're winning too many times. It's time for you to lose. Here. A bunch of land. Oh. Really? Is this how it's gonna work? Flame sweep? Alright, well we'll pass for now. End turn. Because we can always, you know, throw it at his face in the next one. Cavalier of Thorns is going to give him land. We'll solve before the end of the turn. We do want to be able to throw this flame sweep out there. A lot of damage. And he does get the thing. There's a Temple of Scry. If we can get a Ritual Suit, that would be amazing. So he's gonna do 4 damage. Nah, Nicol Bola finally decides to show his face. Does he have a removal? Oh, Lava Core. Ooh. So he's gonna be able to do 9. There's a Risen Reef. Okay. Oh no, that's deep. So there goes our land. So I think it would be safe to get rid of 1. I really think 2026 is too much. There are times when it's so funny how this deck works, because there are times when it is a lot, and then there are times when it is nothing. So we're gonna get rid of probably one of these other cards. Maybe the Dismal Backwater. Honestly, I think that should have been a Scry card right there. I do believe that Bedevil is too expensive. He's playing Timur. So yeah, Noxious Grasp, Flame Sweep, get rid of 1 or 2 Narsets. Angrat's Rampage is okay. I don't think Bedevil is such a big winner here. He does have Hostage Taker's probably not a good idea. We want Eternal God. Okay, fine. I think Bedevil will be a good idea here. Maybe 3. And yeah, I think that's good. This is pretty okay. We could have gotten rid of the Chandra. I forgot. Damn it. Could have gotten rid of that Chandra. We didn't really need it. If only for like her +2. Blood Crypt is a good start. Then Drowned Catacombs. thinking, alright, we'll put that down. There we have some first one. Wow, these nickel bolas are pretty intense. My turn. Hope it's a land. Dress. I mean, what could it hurt, right? He might have a Nisa in there somewhere. Or a counter spell. Ah, he might have gone counter spell. I'm pretty sure of it. Nah. Okay, Veil of Sumner and Nisa. Nisa isn't really a problem. Veil of Summer is. Which begs the question, why didn't he use it? Probably didn't think it was worth it. There's a Llanowar. Tyrant Scorn. I'll take it. But only because I want to delay him even further. We didn't really change much. We only replaced a few things and put in a few removals for other removals. Cheaper removals, that is to say. Alright. 4. Looks like we're getting a little bit mana screwed here. He is going to be able to put down that. Oh no! I was expecting him to be able to put down something else. Yeah, we are getting a little mana screwed. So I think I have to keep those cards. Looks like the game is really pissing me off again. Alright. We guess we have to do it, right? What else is he going to bring back? A Veiled Summoner? He can bring back a card from the grave, which is probably going to be the Veiled Summoner. I think he's going to choose it. Or maybe the Risen Reef. Risen Reef might be one of his options there. A land, interestingly. Decides to put back the land. What for, though? For the Hydroid Crassus? Wow, this dude might be actually some math whiz. So yeah, put down the... put that down.
Together, we will prevail.
Convert one of the lands.
Behold, nature's true power.
How do we want to proceed here, though? Huh. We have the 5. At this point, we can only do one thing per turn.
Defiance is infuriating.
Do you think he has another Summoner? Summoner Veil? Because I think he does. Okay, there's Nikki B. There's the Ravager. I think we want to put that down. Meg. Now he has to get rid of something. Oh, okay. So it was a land. Oh, Lava Coil. Didn't expect that. Should be expecting it more. Oh, wala ata siya.
The land shall conquer.
Puts down 2 lands. He's gonna cast that. Hey, watch the tail. How many lands do we? We have 3. If we put this down, it's not really gonna make much of a difference. That's 5. We put it in graveyard. I think we're safe to do that. Right. And then we can ritual suit, since the Hydroid Crassus does count as a less than something.
The land fights for
That's
us.
it. The real question is, what are we getting next? I'm not opposed to that Nicol Bolas, except I need something cheaper. Right, sure, whatever. So we have to deal with this Nisa. It's gonna be a problem. Once she gets that card out, it will be a problem, so we have to destroy her. Even if it means that sacrifice of our Nicol Bola. He just has another one. But I don't know what our Noxious Grasp is doing. It's just sitting in there, sitting pretty. Sitting so pretty. So pretty. Doing nothing. Probably wants to go face. Okay, he wants to go for my Nicol Bola.
Conceivable.
Bedevil. I think we'll take it. Transform. Sure. We'll also put down this Nicol Bola down. We can draw cards from him. And there's another Nicol Bola, but we don't have the mana for it. Guess we'll have to wait.
I have a
What did he get rid of? A land? Looks like a land.
crumble.
Well, we can get rid of this thing for now. He might have a summoner, so he's gonna use it if he has it. Okay. Veil of Summer. Okay. Now I definitely do want to get rid of that the 2 Chandras. They did not help me. I do want to get rid of these 2 Chandras. The Nicol Bolas has helped, sort of. How about we add Duress and Negate? Let's make it a 3. Even 3. An even Steven. Okay. We're done. We got it. We got this. Come on. He probably has counter spells in there. That's why I added more duresses and negates. Ah, finally. Finally. He's ready. He really had to think about it. I guess he really wants to climb. I guess he really wants to climb the ladder. He, oh, good. What? 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 He was winning. Why? Why? Why?